I kind of go with, that's my kind of recommendation. If I see the chicken will eat it, it's probably okay for me. If a chicken doesn't, they seem to be a little bit more in tune with knowing what it should be, aside from styrofoam, which for some reason they think's great. So.
What strategies for introducing new chickens into the coop? Like quantities, or just add one or two whenever you want, or?
He's asking about adding new chickens to a coop. It's best to start with more and get rid of a few if you need to, than to start with fewer and keep trying to add more. Chickens do establish a pecking order, and so anytime you try to add new birds, it's a process, especially in smaller flocks, to introduce just one or two into an established flock. The best way that I've found to do that, that works overall fairly consistently, is have another wire cage, something small like one of these smaller wire cages, or a dog crate or something that you can actually put in the coop and keep that chicken isolated, but they're around each other, and then give them what I would call supervised visits, where throw out some scratch and whatnot and let all the chickens intermingle. As long as they're not drawing blood, I mean, they're still, even doing that, they're still gonna squabble and fuss and those kind of things, but as long as they're not pulling feathers and drawing blood from the one you're trying to introduce, they should be okay. And usually within a week to 2 weeks, they should kind of mellow out and kind of reestablish the role they're doing.
I don't know if Josh would agree with this, but I would say if you can, introduce at least 2 at a time, too, so that you don't have the new kid on the block. They got a little bit more strength and security if you can too in the first.
Her question was introducing chicks. I would not introduce younger birds with older birds. Sometimes the other chickens will, yes. And so yes, it's best to isolate, if at all possible, isolate the mother in another coop and have a separate setup just for her. Again, as much as possible, introduce like-aged chickens with other like-aged chickens. Because obviously the younger ones are going to get picked on and beat up more. And if they draw blood, chickens are cannibalistic. If they draw blood, they don't stop. Right, until somebody's dead. So, yeah, it can not be fun.
Just a quick side note, a lot of good chicken reference manuals, depending on what you're looking for chicken building, for coops, or for just raising chickens and stuff. There's a lot of books, when you get time, you might want to look through the selection here, and, just for ideas, if nothing else, and they sell them here, and of course wherever else. But I always personally find one good reference manual is something I have on hand. It's just something I go to that's a little quicker than going searching on the internet or doing something. That's something I can quickly flip through, because there's a lot to raising birds, just like any pet, I guess. So.
Along with things to have on hand, I would also recommend having Duramycin or some other kind of antibiotic on hand at all times. If you notice a bird getting sick or somebody's not feeling well, it's a lot easier if you've already got it on hand than to have to go to the feed store, or if it's late at night or something, you're going to have to wait till the next day. Chickens go down fast. If they do get sick, a lot of times they can go down in 4 to 8 hours. And so if you have that antibiotic on hand, it's something you can add to the water and treat them, fairly quickly. If you don't want to have to pull eggs with older birds, there's a product called Denagard that we use. It's designed for swine, but it works very well with the chickens. It's very fast and effective, and you don't have to pull the eggs while they're on the antibiotic. And going back to the coop plans, I think it's the Purina website. I think there's only 1 or 2 plans on there for chicken coops, but they do have 1 or 2 on their website. You can also go to the Mother Earth News website and search there, and there's several different coops and chicken tractors and things on their website as well that you can download the plans from.
Is yours EYI?
Also, backyardchickens.com has a coop section, and there's 3 or 4 different sizes, and within that, you'll have several coops. And these key owners usually have built them, and almost all of them will have plans and the dimensions in there.
Again, just to recap, that's backyardchickens.com. If you go under is it the coops section? The other people that have built coops, there's pictures and things of their coops, and usually they'll have the plans of how they built their coop on the website there also.
Does your DIY also have stationary, or is it just the mobile?
Right now, just the mobile. What he's asking is on our DIY kits if we have the kits for the stationary and the mobile. Right now, we just have them for the mobile. Probably late summer, early fall, we'll finish developing the DIY kits for stationary and some of the other products we carry as well.
You don't have to have the area outside with their fenced in like during the day. That doesn't have to be, you don't have a top on it.
What she's asking is the run area where the chickens are during the day, whether or not it needs to have a top on it. If it's under trees, not necessarily so. If it's out in the open, I would recommend at least running chicken wire across it, because hawks can fly in. If they get a sight line, they can fly in, and yeah, they will nab a hen if it's open top. Another easy, effective method of protecting, especially in a larger run area where it's not practical to run 100 feet of chicken wire, make a grid like a lattice pattern out of fishing line. This way every 6 to 12 inches, this way every 6 to 12 inches, and that's fairly effective in deterring them as well. Also fairly effective in deterring deer if you've got a deer problem, and you don't want netting around your flower beds. You just put some stakes in the ground, run that fishing line, and they don't like anything on their faces, and so it'll keep them out of the flower beds as well. There's not, because of the cover that you have on the ground. I mean, depending on what kind of grass you have, how thick it is, how much rain we've had, how fast it's growing. I mean, those can all be variables in that. Generally, I would say probably somewhere between 20 to 40 square feet per bird would keep it down but not killed. But again, it depends. If we're in a drought, there's not anything you can do. You give them 100 square feet of bird, and there's not going to be anything left for them to eat. So generally, though, I'd say 30 to 40 square feet would probably be adequate. The larger the area they have, the more selective they're going to be. They're not going to eat everything in sight. If you have vegetable gardens and you let them free range, be sure and fence them off from the vegetables, because they will eat pretty much everything in the garden. So, especially tomatoes. So as soon as they start turning red, there won't be a tomato left. So.
Any experience with training chickens?
I don't have any experience training chickens. He's asking about training chickens. I do know that people have trained them. I do know people that have trained them to be housebroken, but I personally have not done it.
I don't mean to do tricks, but like I don't allow my chickens on the patio because they poop all over it.
Right.
And I train them not to go on the patio. And I don't know about anybody else. There is a way to get them not to do it. Chicken whisperer, yeah.
Okay. I will watch it. I'm going to take one or two more questions, and then we'll wrap it up, and I'll be around to answer any other questions you may have. Feel free to check out the vendors, any of those kind of things. So.
As far as feeding them, like the, oh, go ahead.
She's asking about dogs and chickens. A lot of that depends on breed, and a lot of it depends on how much time you've got to work with them. With a lot of breeds, yeah, you can train them to leave the chickens alone. Hounds, especially dachshunds and those kind of dogs, forget it. I've done everything I can to train ours, and there's nothing you can do.